when you thought things could not get any worse, Napheesa Collier officially canceled the meeting with WNBA Commissioner Cathy Engelbert.
So, the WNBA is on the verge of a civil war, a conflict that could burn the entire league to the ground just as it was finally catching fire. But this war wasn't started by a rival. It was ignited from within by its own commissioner. And now, Napheesa Collier's shocking move to cut off all communication with Cathy Engelbert has put the entire 2026 season on a path to cancellation. It all came down to a single disastrous press conference. Instead of celebrating the WNBA Finals, Commissioner Cathy Engelbert took the stage and did the unthinkable. She publicly called Napheesa Collier, one of her biggest stars and a union leader, a liar. Engelbert flatly denied making controversial comments Collier had shared, dismissing them as false reports and social media chatter. That one move was the spark that lit the fuse on a bomb that had been ticking for years.
Cathy Engelbert's meeting with Napheesa Collier has been canceled. Fee is pissed, livid about the rhetoric that Cathy Engelbert spewed on that podium before Game 1 of the WNBA Finals. It is looking like.
But what exactly did Engelbert deny? Just a week earlier, Collier had exposed a private conversation where the commissioner allegedly told her that only losers complain about refs and that Caitlin Clark should just be grateful for the money and platform the WNBA provides. These weren't just petty complaints, they were claims that the league's highest-ranking official was completely dismissive of the players' most basic concerns. To Collier and players across the league, Engelbert's public denial wasn't a simple clarification, it was a public execution of her credibility. In front of the world's media, the commissioner looked her players in the eye and essentially said, "You are making this up." It was a declaration that the league's leadership saw its players not as partners but as problems to be managed.
That is negligence. At Unrivaled this past February, I sat across from Cathy and asked how she planned to address the officiating issues in our league.
Instantly, the battle lines were drawn, and Engelbert found herself on an island. Brianna Stewart began liking posts that supported Collier. Sophie Cunningham spoke out. Even Caitlin Clark, who masterfully avoids controversy, publicly stated that Collier had made a lot of valid points. The players had formed a silent, united front, leaving their commissioner completely isolated. Collier's response was swift and brutal. She officially canceled their scheduled peace talks. This wasn't a simple postponement, it was a symbolic severing of all diplomatic ties. Sources reported to ESPN that the relationship between the two is now beyond repair. That single act was the point of no return, signaling that the time for talking behind closed doors was over.
Take a moment to address some important conversations happening across the WNBA, including remarks made earlier this week by Napheesa Collier. First, let me repeat this. You saw it in my statement, but I have the utmost respect for Napheesa and for every single player in our league. They are at the center of everything we do. I was disheartened to hear that some players feel the league and me personally do not care about them or listen to them. And if the players in the W don't feel appreciated and valued by the league, then we have to do better and I have to do better. We know how great these players are on and off the court, how much they mean to our league, our fans, and our communities. If they don't feel that, I will do everything I can to change that. No one should ever doubt how deeply I care about this league, this game, and every single player who makes the WNBA what it is.
And make no mistake, this wasn't just Napheesa Collier, the player. This was Napheesa Collier, the vice president of the WNBA Players Association. Her actions represented the entire union. By canceling that meeting, she sent a chilling message to the league office. If you won't respect our leader, you won't be speaking to any of us. This entire mess reveals Engelbert's fatal flaw. She runs the WNBA like a Deloitte spreadsheet, not a professional sports league. Her background is in corporate accounting, a world of risk mitigation and carefully worded press releases. She talks about synergy and pipeline optimization, while her players are demanding basic respect and fair officiating. It's a culture clash of epic proportions, where every player concern is filtered through a corporate lens that sees athletes as assets, not people. This isn't leadership, it's brand management. And when Napheesa Collier spoke out, Engelbert didn't see a respected player raising valid concerns. She saw a threat to her stock price. Her response wasn't to listen or empathize, it was to go into full defense mode, protecting the corporate image at all costs, even if it meant alienating her entire workforce. That single decision may have been the most costly mistake in WNBA history.
Like, we may not have a 2027 a 2026 WNBA season.
Behind the scenes, a doomsday clock is ticking louder than ever. The league's collective bargaining agreement, the deal that dictates salaries, benefits, and revenue sharing, is up for negotiation. The deadline is fast approaching, and the players' lead negotiator just told the commissioner she's done talking. Without trust, there are no talks. Without talks, there is no deal. And without a deal, there is no 2026 season. But let's be honest, this kind of self-sabotage is nothing new for the WNBA. The league has a long and painful history of shooting itself in the foot right when things are looking up. For years, it failed to properly market its biggest stars, letting legends like Maya Moore and Candace Parker build their brands almost entirely on their own. It clung to a brutal travel schedule that caused injuries and burnout, only agreeing to limited charter flights after years of public shaming. This isn't a single crisis, it's a pattern of reactive, not proactive, leadership. If that CBA clock hits 0, the word lockout becomes a terrifying reality. That means arenas go dark, players stop getting paid, TV contracts are frozen, and sponsors pull their money. The entire league would shut down, right at the peak of its popularity, all because its leader couldn't handle being criticized. It would be the ultimate act of self-destruction. But this fire didn't start last week. The kindling has been piling up for years. Players watched as league legend Elena Delle Donne retired without so much as a thank you tweet from the league office. How does that happen in a league with only 44 players? It sends a message of profound disrespect. They've been fined for questioning bad officiating and told to be grateful for the opportunity. This confrontation with Collier wasn't an isolated incident, it was the inevitable explosion of years of simmering resentment. And trapped in the crossfire is the one person the league can't afford to lose, Caitlin Clark. The rookie superstar who has single-handedly boosted ratings and sold out arenas is now being used as a political pawn in a war she wants no part of. Instead of building a dynasty around her, the league has turned her name into a symbol of its own dysfunction. But in a twisted way, Caitlin Clark has become a poisoned chalice for the league. Her arrival was supposed to be a golden age, a tidal wave of cash and attention that would lift all boats. Instead, her immense popularity has acted like a black light, exposing every crack and stain the WNBA has tried to hide for years. The officiating crisis, the resentment over pay disparity, and now the complete incompetence at the top. It's all been amplified under the intense spotlight she brings. The league wanted her money, but it was completely unprepared for the scrutiny that came with it. Now, Engelbert's alleged comments about her have dragged an innocent rookie into a fight that could derail her career before it truly begins. Clark has become both the league's greatest asset and the accidental catalyst for its potential undoing. But the players might have a secret weapon Engelbert never saw coming. It's a new off-season league called Unrivaled, founded by none other than Napheesa Collier and Brianna Stewart. If the WNBA locks its players out, guess where the world's best talent will go? They won't be sitting at home. They'll be playing in a league owned and operated by themselves. This isn't just a side hustle, it's an endgame. Unrivaled represents the players' ultimate trump card. For the first time, they have a credible alternative. It's a fully funded, player-centric league ready to launch. If the WNBA collapses, even for a year, Unrivaled could step in and become the new center of the women's basketball universe. From Engelbert's perspective, this isn't just competition, it's an existential threat created by the very player she chose to publicly humiliate. This raises a shocking question. Is Collier simply fighting for players' rights? Or is she strategically positioning herself to benefit from the WNBA's potential collapse? Whether it's a genius business move or a massive conflict of interest, it gives the players an unprecedented amount of leverage. For the first time ever, they have a viable alternative and can walk away from a bad deal. But one question remains unanswered. Where are the team owners? While this war rages, the 12 individuals who actually own the teams have remained completely silent. Their silence is deafening. Are they standing behind their commissioner, hoping this storm blows over? Or are they working behind the scenes, plotting her removal to save their investments? Their inaction is a form of complicity, allowing the league to drift closer and closer to the abyss. The noise from this implosion is getting so loud that fans and insiders are now calling for a higher power to intervene. The demand is growing for NBA Commissioner Adam Silver to step in and fire Cathy Engelbert before she sinks the entire ship. Many believe it's the only move that can restore trust and save the 2026 season from becoming a lost year. What the league office is failing to understand is that the power dynamic has fundamentally shifted. This fight isn't just about money or charter flights anymore. It's about players realizing that they are the product. They hold the star power, they command the fan bases, and now they are building their own infrastructure. They don't need the league as much as the league needs them. The most tragic part of this meltdown is its timing. For the first time in forever, the WNBA had real, tangible momentum. The Caitlin Clark effect was bringing in millions of new fans. Kids were buying jerseys again. It felt like the dawn of a new era, and now it's all at risk of being squandered by a catastrophic failure of leadership and one executive's bruised ego. So now, the entire league holds its breath, stuck in a standoff, one move away from total annihilation. The players have made it clear they will not back down. The commissioner has painted herself into a corner, with no allies left. The question is, who will blink first? Or will they both let the entire empire they built crumble to dust, leaving nothing but the memory of what could have been?